back to MoCo Family Business. We got the squad. Look at my snooker bookers in the building. We got my mom, if y'all don't know already. That's Snook. My wife, Sirena. And then we got Cole, as usual, calling in from Maryland. What up, sis?
Hey, what's up?
All right, so listen. We're checking in. This is a different type of episode this week because my documentary, A Radical Act, that airs on Roku October 16th. Y'all check it out. It took 3 years of our lives. Yes. 3 years, okay? So it's crazy to even see that we're here. But we're going to have some questions thrown at us from our EP, Amena. She's off of camera right now, but she's going to just toss them to us. Amena, should I just let you take it from here?
Let's go.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it.
Okay, Renee, I want you to start. What made you agree to do a documentary?
Ooh, what a good question. That's a great question because for me, it was tough. I literally do not like being on camera. Like, it's so interesting to say, but I'm fine with going to the studio. Yes, we're in here. What's up, y'all, on camera? But when I go home, I like to be in my little world that is just me, my family, and my bonnet and my Snuggie, and that's it. So it was hard. Like Sirena told me all along that I was going to be a documentary. She's the first one that took out her camera and started recording me.
The first one was Snook.
The very first one when I was young was Snook. I'm going back to 2020 when this whole process started. But Snook, y'all will see in the documentary, Snook been keeping everything. Yes, receipts, records of everything. News articles, yes, videos, AAU days, all of it. And in 2020, when Sirena just kept taking out the phone and was like, I got to catch this moment. This is big. I'm like, girl, relax. Leave me alone.
I was like, I can't relax. You're not normal. Like, you're not doing normal things. And I feel like this is, like the world should see what you're doing one day. Because if it was up to you, you don't think that you're incredible. But I think you're incredible. Your family thinks you're incredible. And these are not normal things that you're doing.
Right. So I didn't want to say yes to answer your question, Amena. I get uncomfortable. I would rather not be. I would like my private life to stay private to a certain extent. So this documentary was very uncomfortable for me, a growth uncomfortable. So yeah, that's what I would say. So what made me?
It wasn't just you. Everybody had to kind of adapt because. Then it was, Cole, when you come in to Snook and Diddy's, they're going to have cameras there. And you're like, what? Like, Snook and Diddy's is the ultimate relaxation area for the whole family to kind of come and just decompress. And the world's not real. And so it wasn't just her. It was everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
Like, our whole family's private. So that was tough to say yes to everybody having to be exposed on camera. But that is a good question because... will I say yes the next time around? I don't know. It's tough. I mean, imagine being filmed for 3 years. It's a long amount of time.
Yeah, I think this has ruined all kinds of cameras coming into our home for Renee. Like, she's like, one and done. That's it. No more.
Well, we were totally shocked, especially her father, knowing how Renee is. Mm-hmm. Renee is, like I said, very private. And a lot of times when Renee didn't want to be bothered, especially coming up into her bedroom and close the door. Yep. And not to knock because she's not wanting to be bothered.
Yeah, so this is good for people to see because I think people will be surprised. Like, I'm like, how that term, the most antisocial person in the world. Yeah, like, it's like when I'm at home chilling, let's chill. Like, but yeah, so this was a doozy. So shouts to Sandrine and them because they made it way better than it sounds. But yeah, so shouts to the director, Sandrine, and the whole crew.
Yeah, Sandrine, she made it. She just made it so comfortable. She did. Where we almost forgot sometimes that the cameras were there. Sometimes, like you it is a little awkward to have the cameras around and things like that. But Sandrine and Anka made it just so easy for us to just kind of be ourselves.
They were so good, we almost adopted them into our family.
I think we did it around here now. That's why we say family business. You really do become a part of the family if you do business with us.
This brings up a good follow-up question. Did y'all have a talk as a family about you agreeing to this documentary? Did y'all have a talk about that? Did y'all have a talk about what was allowed to be shown or filmed or what was not allowed? How did those conversations go?
Well, let me just take that. With Renee, we found that Renee is when we get a call from Renee, we know we have work to do. just to say that Renee keeps us very, very busy. And sometimes, when we see her name pop up, we say, okay, should we answer this or do I need to answer it later so I can get some work done for myself? Because we know we have to work for Renee. And we really didn't discuss it all of that much. Renee said that this is what she wanted to do. And as a family, we kind of always come together and do what we need to do for the family.
That's right. I mean, it's kind of like I don't think that the family is surprised by Renee's crazy shenanigans. So it's like just get ready for the ride. And what I think that was so beautiful about our whole family. And now, even my family included now is like, we just, we just support each other so much. And in a sports family, support is just everything. Yeah. Like you have to support, especially when you have an athlete in the family, it's like everybody knows that Renee needs a lot of, just a lot of energy and a lot of just support, for lack of a better word, just to execute the things that happen in our lives.
Cole,
well, I will say this. It didn't matter if we had a talk or not. Renee was like, Cole, get ready. I said, I don't want these people sitting watching me eat. She's like, they're going to watch you eat, Cole. They're going to watch you walk around. And I'm like, okay. Yes. So then you start looking crazy. You start looking around before you start doing anything. You turn around, you're like, okay, there's a camera over there. Let me go over here and suck down this food and then come back. So I don't think
Cole was trying to dodge the cameras. Cole was, this is the problem with our family.
Yeah, that was the first question when everybody came in. Where are the cameras? Yeah.
Yeah, so but it was like you said, Sandrine and her crew, they made it very easy. It wasn't and you had a certain feel that they were going to respect the family. They would never want to expose or do anything. Like we weren't really doing anything, but just they weren't looking to dig for dirt or to make it more. They wanted a genuine family dynamic. They wanted to see how we really interacted, and that's why it was very comfortable, because you just felt like it wasn't a gotcha moment for every time you were moving around or doing anything. So it was really good.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to throw a question to you, Snook. You were Renee's first documentarian. I hear you were the archivist of so many of Renee's accomplishments. Why was that important to you? And how did that also play a factor in your interest in this documentary?
Okay, well, it's kind of complicated. One of the reasons I was so interested in taking information about Renee. Well, Nicole and Nisha both were athletes and very active. I did them as well. But from my background, I have no knowledge of anything in my background, my family or anything. And so I have all of these, even at my old age now, I have all of these questions that I cannot get answered because there's no documentation, there's no people, there's nothing for me to refer back to. So when my kids were coming up, I wanted them to have as much information about themselves, about what was going on and that kind of thing. So with Nicole and Nisha, as I said, they were involved in a lot of stuff. They were majorettes. The oldest two were majorettes, and both of them were athletes as well. Nikki was the state high jump runner-up in high school, and they both played basketball. I think that's where Renee got her love of basketball from. But as I said, I tried to document for my whole family everything that I could, because I didn't have anything to go on, and I wanted them not to be in the same boat I was in.
Let me ask you, Renee and Nicole, I'm interested to hear your answer too. How did it feel to you to have a mom who felt what you were doing was important enough to document that way?
Yeah, see, it's crazy because with me, I don't ever see anything to be a big deal. So I'm always more so asking her, like, what are you doing? Like, it's really, I tell Sirena this now. I don't see anything I do as a big deal, so I don't feel the need to do it. But I'm thankful that she did it anyway, honestly, because it's like, if it was up to me, there would be nothing, no articles, nothing written, no documentary. It wouldn't happen, because I would just think that everybody's doing big things out here. That's kind of how my mind works. I just see, like, I got a story and so does everybody else. But I'm so thankful. Even even seeing Sandrine and their reaction to see how much information and how much Snook and them kept, it really makes you appreciate it, because you know it's not normal to do that much just storage. I mean, videos, tapes, newspaper articles. It's easy to lose track of that stuff, but it's crazy to see how much Snook kept up with everything.
You know, at the time, you don't think about it. Yeah. You know, growing up, and every time you win something, your mother's snatching it from your hands, like, give me that. Let me put that away. You know, or you get a ribbon, you get a trophy, or you get something. You know, we were so busy that we didn't actually see the value. I can speak for myself. I'm sorry. I saw the value in getting it at the moment. When you're in the moment and your team wins something and you get a trophy, you're like, yeah, we got the trophy. And then you go home and you take it home and you kind of just sit to the side and, you know, you don't really see the value in it, because now the next thing is happening. So you're into the next sport, or you're at the next competition, or you're doing the next thing. And so, you know, mom taking those things and saying, this is really important, I'm going to hold on to it, is huge. And I didn't see the value in all of the things that we did. Because like I said, when you're living life, sometimes you don't understand how big that accomplishment is until later on. So her taking those things and documenting, I appreciate it. It's now I do it for my sons, because my sons are doing the same thing. They're growing up, they're doing their own thing, they're busy. So when we go back and look at the things that I've kept, they're going to be like, wow, I forgot we did that and that. So it's very important. And I actually got that from my mother, because I really, a lot of the stuff that I did, I don't remember. But Snook and Diddy are the librarians of knowing exactly what we did, when we did it, when it happened, where it happened, how it happened. So I think that I haven't thanked her enough for all these things, but I thank her for those things, because we wouldn't have them. I wouldn't know them.
Definitely.
They tell my kids more about stuff that I've done than I do. So, you know, I appreciate it, and I love that they put that love and that time into us, because now we do it for our kids, and it's just second nature.
It's so funny. Renee's been so heralded as an athlete, and people come to our house and we have a trophy case that's full of trophies. And they'll say, oh, look at all of Renee's trophies. Renee does not have the most trophies. Nicole and the Shay have the most trophies in the trophy case. So.
Shouts to a sports family. That's the things you don't know.
Yeah, but Renee has the big ones. See, we might have the most, but Renee has the big ones. She has the big ones.
Stars. I mean, this is like, when we say sports family, I think people a lot of times think that they're talking about me, but when I say sports family, that means that like Snook played intramurals again before Title IX. Keep that in mind. Diddy played football in college. Cole ran track, majorette. Shay was a cheerleader, played basketball. Everybody played basketball. So when we say sports family, it's literally a culture of we all played sports.
Sirena, I want to throw a question to you, but I want everyone to give me some thoughts on this. For people who have never been a part of this behind the scenes process of a documentary, what is it like? Because you are telling us that you had cameras following you and your family for 3 years. That's a long time to commit to. What is that like? Does that mean that changes some of your morning routines? Like how did you have to adjust life to accommodate for all of the filming?
Well, unlike Renee's family, I don't come from a sports family. So the whole thing was an adjustment, just because as soon as, you enter a sports family, you realize that it is a lot of responsibilities and you do have a lot of eyes around you. And so I will say that by the time the documentary started filming, Renee and I were already together for like 2 years. So we were already kind of used to, kind of being like a little bit out in the public and things like that. And so it wasn't that huge of an adjustment, but the adjustment part was just having people in our home, period, because this was coming out of COVID. And as Renee has mentioned many times before, we were very much so quarantined inside. We did not go anywhere. And so going from that to filming a documentary and having a lot of people in your house and having a whole crew sometimes in your house, that was a little bit challenging and overwhelming sometimes. But it, just filming during that time, like the whole film crew, even with the protocols and everything, they made it really, really comfortable for us. Like they had their masks, because that was like the number one thing for us. It was just to be safe, because like we said, it was during COVID times, and so they just made it really, really comfortable for us to have that crew in our home. But yeah, like I almost got choked up when Cole was talking, because just going back to Snook a little bit is like everything. Oh, I'm not gonna cry right now, but everything goes back to this woman right here, because I picked up where she left off, and I want to thank you too for creating such an incredible person.
What is happening?
Cole, I blame Cole, but I am a crier. But yeah, like I picked up right where Snook left off. I saw an incredible person that the world needed to see. And I said, why don't more people know about you? And I was in journalism school. I was in a documentary filmmaking class. And I just took out my camera and I just started recording everything that she was doing.
Everything.
Everywhere that we went, thank you, Snook. Everywhere that we went, I started writing stories about her for my school and in my classes and stuff. And people were just like drawn to her story. And when the pandemic happened, and Renee and I decided to go out to the protest, all I did was just film her giving out these waters, and the whole world kind of went crazy, because they people were coming together during that time. They were seeing humanity, and they couldn't believe that that an athlete would opt out of their season to basically help out the community. And all I did was just put the first lens on it, and that's it.
I love it. Renee, let me close with you. What do you hope people receive, feel, watching your story, watching your family, watching the things that you've endured, the challenges you've survived? Yeah. What do you hope when the credits roll that people feel and maybe have some inspiration for their own lives?
I mean, I think the title of the documentary is called A Radical Act. And I hope people feel radical in a sense of it is kind of crazy to try to achieve like that. That goal that we all have that you look at it, you're like, that's not really going to happen. But I'm going to set it here because I want it to happen, but it's not going to really happen. That's a radical thought to think you can achieve like the biggest goal you've ever seen. And so becoming like my life is that. Like coming from West Virginia, people literally would laugh at Snook if she told them that I was going to go to UConn. That was like a joke at first. Like, you're going to UConn? Okay, yeah, let me see. Whenever it happens, let me see. It was like a joke. And it was like, but when I was younger, I thought that. I'm like, what if I did go to UConn out of West Virginia? We have a dirt road. We have, this is where I grew up, Sweet Home, West Virginia. And so then it was radical to think that I didn't even think I could go to the WNBA. That was not even, it was like, my first goal was just college. First of all, because the WNBA started, it's only 28 years old, and I'm older than the WNBA. But then it was just like, even going to the WNBA, it's like, there goes that dream again, that it's not really realistic, but I was just about my grind. That's kind of the thing I think that Cole was talking about, where it's like, you're in the grind. And so it's like, if there's an opportunity for me to do it, I'm gonna do it. So I hope that people just get this radicalness about their success. Like, that's how I was. It's radical to think that you can be everything you even more than you actually think you can be. It's like, the way they see me is weird. It's like I said, I'm like, everybody got a story. So I don't feel like my story is necessarily the craziest story. And I always like look at myself in that lens. And so I hope that everybody just sees that, like, it is radical to think that you could be the most successful self you can be, but there's different ways to become successful. There's not a blueprint. There's not a template. And so my story just kind of shows that, wow, I'm not traditional. I'm not your traditional route. And I think that's kind of what my story shows.
That is this week's family business.
Wow. Oh man, we needed to say, well, can I say one more thing? When y'all hear that little jangle jangle, that's how you know Snook's around. Those are her bangles.
Yes,
so
Snook
if you
is
hear
moving
this,
her arms around.
Yeah, exactly. So if y'all hear the sound of the little jingle jangle, that is my Snook Booka and her bangles. That's how we know she's coming in the house. That's how we know she's arrived home. That is happiness. That sounds like happiness to me.
Big thank you to Renee, to Snook, to Sirena, and Nicole. Y'all come back for more Montgomery and Company.
Thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Montgomery and Company. Remember, if you've got a question for the MoCo mailbag, send it to us at moco@wabe.org or at Montgomery Co Pod on Instagram. This show is produced by Think Tank Productions in collaboration with WABE. Our executive producers are Amena Brown, Scotty Crowe, and Serena Grace. Audio production is by Kevin Rinker and Matt Owen. Video by Ariel Brown, Greg Harding Films, and Ryshad Pitts. Until next time, I'm Renee Montgomery, and this is MoCo, where it's all sports, culture, and family business.
WABE.